So an early morning start at a local pond. One rod with a float, fishing bread, and the other one, when I get it in a minute, will be a free line, also with bread. So both lines in. Now it's a waiting game. Well, I've just seen my first evidence of fish in here. Just to the left by these reeds there's a carp feeding. So I've moved my bait a little bit closer to the shore. Just round the corner here, there's reeds moving. 30 minutes in, no bites yet. But I have seen some fish moving around, so it's encouraging. Well, nothing on the bread as yet, so I've switched one bait for worms. We'll see if that makes any difference. But I'm actually quite surprised that I haven't had a bite yet. This duck is a pain in the neck. He's likely to end up as Christmas dinner if he doesn't go away. This is what happens when people feed ducks all the time. Over there by the reeds, tails coming out of the water, thrashing and splashing. But not a bite. There's a pink goldfish about 3 feet in front of me. There's lots of carp splashing around all over the place. He's back. There's fish right in close. Oh, there's a carp no more than 2 feet in front of me, between the two rods. There's another one. Not sure whether this is spawning dance or what. It'll be very frustrating if they won't bite. There's certainly plenty of action. Well, this is all a little bit strange. There's heaps of fish swimming around, and over there by the reeds they're splashing and carrying on. The only thing I can think of is they must be spawning, but I would have thought that was a bit late in the year for that. Lots of thrashing around, and as yet no real positive bites. Look at that, right next to my float. They're just not playing. There they go. Just not interested in bait. They have to be spawning. This morning I'm down at a local pond. Very noisy, what with birds and cars of people going to work. We had a bit of rain a few days ago. This pond has topped up. I did come down a couple of days ago and scoped it out, and there were lots of fish moving around, so I'm hopeful that today I might get something, given that last time I came the fish were spawning and just weren't interested in bait. I'm going to start with both rods unweighted, bread for bait, and I found you don't need to be a long way out to get fish here. So that one can go in there. And I'll put this one a little bit over to the left here under this bottle brush. And just had a bit of a take on this line. I can see a bow wave out there in the water. Not quite sure what caused that, but something picked this bait up. It may have dropped it. That was definitely a fish. got him, but oh no, he's right over in the shallows. Caught up in this bush. He's going to have to swim out. Thank you. I have a customer. It's not huge. I've got him out of the weeds. And here's fish number one. And he's in. Bit of a tangle there, I'll sort that out later. So there we go. That's not a bad fish. As Robbie would say, I'm on the board. And that fish wasn't very far out at all. I might just get a bit of sweet corn burley out. Not too far. Since that first fish, the only bites I've had have been from mosquitoes. So one for that line and one just a bit further out. See if we can't get some customers to come a bit closer. But I've put sweet corn on one line and just get it out where I put that burley. Not a touch on the bread on the other line since that first fish yet. Beautiful conditions. I generally find in small ponds like this that if you catch a fish and all the commotion that causes, it can be 30 minutes before you get another bite. I think the other fish in the pond just get a little bit wary, at least for a while, before they'll feed again. So it could be a little while before I get another bite. Right, I'm on again. It's not a very big fish, this one. It's a very small fish. Oh dear. I don't think I've ever caught a fish that small in this pond. Yep, got him. It's only a small one. Having said, I only ever caught big ones in here. That's now 2 in a row, little tiddlers. Let's try again. I'm after that pond monster. Go a bit further out this time. Something's picking at the bread on this float. He's got it. I've got him. What have we got? Don't tell me it's a turtle, please. It's a turtle. Oh, they're a pain. It is turtle season. And get the pliers and get him off. I've been here about 3 hours. I haven't had anything positive since that turtle that I caught. And a very good morning from a local stormwater pond. I'm back here for part 3 of a trilogy, if you like, of attempts to catch a decent carp in this pool. I'm going to start with unweighted bread on both lines, and then if that does no good, I can switch to corn or go to a float. Sparrows are still farting, that's how early it is. Well, it's a fish, but it's very small. This is a bit better. I might have to get this other line in, I think. Yes, this is a better fish. It's not huge, but I don't know, maybe a kilo. Certainly not one of the bigger fish in here, but bigger than that first one. My theory is that if you give them a big bait, you're more likely to catch the bigger fish. So I'm going with a fairly large piece of bread, and that certainly worked on that last fish. Let's get it back out there. Nice bit of soft bread out of the middle. I don't use the crust. Just mould it round the hook. Doesn't seem to matter whether it's fluffy or not. There we go. A dip just to give it a bit of weight. And back out. Somebody had a yabby net in here on the weekend. Didn't have any yabbies in it, but I had to pull it out because it was in the way. Be interested to see if they come back and check it, or whether this is going to be a late afternoon job after school's finished. I'd assume it's a kid. Right, well, that's 2 on the board. That's a good start. Nearly 2 hours on, and I haven't had another touch. So it looks like the pond monster might have eluded me again. I'll be back again for another try at a later date. Attempt number 5, I think it is, at this local pond, to try and get one of the large carp that I know are in here. I seem to have most luck here early in the morning. You can see a bit of bubbles and fizzing out there. Unweighted bread, as always. We'll get it out where the fizzing is and see if I can't get an early fish. Now it's the waiting game. I'm on here. Oh, that was a good fish too. Can see the swirl out there. Hook's gone. Well, that's really annoying. That was a good take. There must have been a nick in the line and I lost it. Oh my God, they must be small. Finally, I have one. And this is why I've had trouble. They're tiny. Now the other one. And we have another little tacker, I would say. Yep. And he's caught round a fin. Oh, would you believe I've got 2? That one is lassoed. He's fallen off. Here's the one that's actually hooked. That other fish was caught round the fin. Now I did that for the first time not that long ago, and I've just done it again. Amazing. What is this? Tiny little carp on corn. And another one. And they're all this size today. Well, the float finally went down, and it's another minnow. As has happened most times I've been here, most of the fish have bitten in the first hour or hour and a half. I haven't had anything for about half an hour, so I might have missed the bite window. I did lose that one good fish when the hook broke off, and since then virtually nothing except those couple of small ones. So it looks like the pond monster has escaped again. Well, nothing at all for an hour, so I think I'm about ready to pack it in. We're expecting a big rain this weekend. That should top the pond up, at least to where my feet are, and that might get him going. So I might come back next week and try maybe worms, see if that does any good. But very, very quiet. I had my chance today, one decent take, and inexplicably it broke the hook off, so I blew it. Back at the pond at dark o'clock. We've had a fair bit of rain over the last couple of days. It's topped the water up quite well, and this time I'm going to try scrub worms. So bread on a float, scrub worm free lined on the bottom. Let's see if I can't get that big fish today. The big fat worm out here. I've done a bit of pre-burleying, so I'm hopeful that that might get him around. And the bread out here. This is where I have caught a number of smaller fish, which is not what I'm after, of course, but you just never know when that big one's going to turn up. Well, I've only been here 5 minutes. I've got a bite on the float already, and my first fish. And yes, it's another small one. These are probably the spawning from before Christmas. As I said before, we had a fair bit of rain yesterday. Water ran into the pond. My reasoning is that worms may well be the best bait today. Fish might well be looking for things like worms given the influx of fresh water. I'll put in a bit more loose feed around the float. Well, I made a right hash of that. That was a good fish. Oh dear. Certainly smashed that bread, but got off. Got him. I hate to say, I think it's a turtle. Do not say the T word. Oh no, it is. Come here. Stupid thing. Go away. I've been here for 3.5 hours. I haven't had any interest at all for the last 2.5. All the fish were early, as they seem to be here. I know that there are a couple of big fish in here. I did lose one reasonable fish earlier. Alright, we're on here. Yes. It's taken a long time to get a fish to take the bait. And this seems like quite a good one. So let's get that other line out of the water. Seems like a bit of size to this. Don't tell me I've picked up a snag. Oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. I have snagged on something after all this. Oh God, I can't believe it. Something playing with it. Very, very tentative. Got him. Not very big. Here we go. Ah, it's another tiny one. Where are all the big ones? So this is the feeder. Bread bait. Little homemade cage full of burley. Yet to catch a fish on it. But you've got to keep trying. So I get that out where I just had the bite. Sink the line and down in the rod rest. Missed another one. Ah, okay. Well, it's a fish. That's about all you can say about it. Another tiddler. Right, I'm on, and it's a good fish. Let's get this feeder out. Yep, it's a good one. Let's not muck this up. Well, it's not the pond monster, but it's a good fish. Come on. Yes. Get in there. Beauty. a decent fish. Let's be checking you out. 6.1 kilos. What a beauty. Well, it's been a long time coming. Lots of trips, lots of disappointment, lots of donuts. But I think I finally caught the big fish that's in here. So I'm pretty happy with that.